check. Check. You can hear me, right? All right. So whenever you're talking to Mike, you got to talk like, you can bring the mic, you can move it around, you can bring it closer to your mouth. Okay. Yeah, you should be able to. Hold up. Can you hear yourself?
Yo. Yeah.
So just bring the mic closer to your, there you go.
Like right there. Okay.
Love that song. All right. Also, hi, Tiffany. How are you? Yeah, we got some people in here right now. All right. Let's get ready to get this underway. Oh no, this ain't plus one. What am I saying? This is the rotation. The rotation, episode 8. Oh boy. Hazel, I see you in there. Oh man, we got a hell of a show today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Rotation, the official guest talk show of the Two Endangered Mammals podcast, the #1 podcast network in my duplex. I am your host, Mr. Tiger Adinaldo, and with me today is a very, very, very special guest, Mr. I Am Cleveland himself. How do I say your last name?
Stursa.
Stursa?
Yep.
Mr. John Stursa, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to give you a round of applause because I feel like you deserve it. There we go.
I appreciate that introduction.
There we go. You know what it is.
That's love.
Hazel said it's spicy now.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man. How are you, sir? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How about you?
I'm great, man. I'm great. I'm glad to have you here. Yeah. I feel like it's been, so from my end, you may not know this, but I feel like this has been a long time coming. Like this has been something that I've wanted to do for a little while. I just hadn't reached out yet. You know what I mean? Because you and I have chatted a few times in the past. Like we've been around each other a couple times. And when I started doing this, like you're one of the people that like I wanted to get on and bring on the show, but I had to get it to a point to where it felt, what's the word I'm looking for? It felt like it was something, you know what I mean?
Right.
Where it wasn't just like a super grassroots. I mean, it's still grassroots, you know what I mean? We're in my fucking living room, so.
Making it happen.
Yeah, but I had to get the couch from the background.
Oh, yeah.
Had to get the big beanbag chair out of the background. Oh, Ashley, what's up, girl? So yeah, man, it's been a long time coming. This has been one of those things that I've been wanting to do for a hot minute and just, you know, like I said, I had to build it. If you build it, they will come. And then it slipped my mind, and then you popped up again. I was like, yo, I got to get you on the podcast.
You had to fix my contraption.
Had to fix your computer for you.
Yeah, which I appreciate. Thank you.
Oh yeah, man. Ain't no thing, man. Ain't nothing but a thing. That's what I'm here to do. I'm like the tech guy amongst my friends. You know what I mean? Like I'm like the dude that anytime something breaks, sometimes against impossible odds, I'm the one that they ask to fix it. You know what I mean? Hazel said, "Don't blush too hard. I can see you."
All it takes is for someone to be like, "Oh, he's turning red," and my face will turn bright red.
I just noticed that you're starting to turn red a little bit.
When you talk about it, like people would do that to me in class. Like they'd be like, "Oh, John's turning red." I wasn't yet.
Oh, and then you would start.
Yep.
Oh shit.
They would fuck with me. So
damn, bro, you have a tell. That's not good. Do you play poker at all?
No, not at all.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't. If you turn red that quick,
give it away.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't. You probably shouldn't play poker at all.
Right.
Oh, Hazel said no. He knows what I'm talking about. Oh, okay. Well, we'll just leave that. We'll just leave that to the people's imagination. We ain't delving, Hazel. We ain't delving into personal stuff here today. Also, so as I asked before, how are you, sir? You doing good? You had to work today, right?
I did.
You said it went by pretty quick.
It went by quick. Last 2 days felt like they went by really quick.
But the weekend You said the weekend was a doozy.
It was cool because I've been trying to just do more in general, especially because I just moved to Cleveland. Before I was in Grafton, so
I was about to say, from what I remember, you were kind of far away for a while, right?
Yeah, it was about 30-40 minute drive.
Yeah. Now you're like in Cleveland. Are you East Side or West Side?
I'm in the West Bank of the Flats.
Okay, so you're like basically in the middle.
Yeah.
So you're like right downtown.
Yeah.
Damn.
And so like this past weekend, like I went to the studio, linked up with some like other artists and just making shit happen.
Yeah,
you know? So. And it's easy now. I can just be like, oh, it's a 5-10 minute drive. Like, why not?
Right.
So
Let me ask you this really quick. How do you prevent people from just showing up at your house when you live downtown? I lived real quick. I lived downtown for like 6 months, right? And doing what I do, I constantly had drunk people showing up at my house. Like once they figured out I lived downtown and where I live,
it's a place to crash.
Yeah.
Well, so I've only been there for a week. Time will tell, I guess.
Oh man.
But yeah, I'll keep my address limited probably.
Right.
So.
I feel like you're in for it. Also, really quick, let me shout out our early birds here. We got Tiffany Fox in the building. We got Ashley Hamburg is in the building. We got Hazel in the building. Got a bunch of people on Instagram too. M. Den, I don't know if you know her, but I don't know her.
Yeah,
that's what?
That's my friend.
Oh, is it?
Good
okay.
Friend, yeah.
Okay. You're in the chat, obviously. Kiara Cotton, the chocolate girl wonder, is in the chat right now.
That's a goat.
Hell yeah. Chris, my man Chris is in the chat. Derek is in the chat. What up, though? What up? Is that over on, I think that's over on YouTube. Hold on, let me put this away. I think they're on YouTube.
I couldn't tell.
Somebody's on YouTube. Wait a minute. Somebody's chatting from YouTube. Usually I can tell from the, from how it looks. Oh, Gonzo is in the chat with us. Gonzo is here. He said, what up, fuckers? He does that every, Derek, are you over? Derek, I know who the fuck you are, but where are you chatting from? Are you chatting from Facebook or are you chatting from YouTube? Because you're definitely not chatting from Twitch. I can tell you that right now, sir. Oh yeah, he's over on Facebook. Who do we have holding down the Twitchosphere right now? Is it just Tiffany? Tiffany, are you all alone over there on Twitch right now? Seems like she's just all alone. Getting back to you. So you're going to keep your address pretty limited, but here's the thing, man. You're in the industry. You know what I mean? And people are going to find out. Somebody's going to slip and be like, yo, John lives right over there. You know what I mean? And then next thing you know, you're going to have drunk people showing up at your house.
I do million shout outs. M2 Elite Tactical in the house, mofos.
Oh, Gonzo with the motherfucking 100 stars. Gonzo's about to get a fucking streak going. We lost our stars on here before, and then Gonzo was pissed because he had a streak. He had like a 15, 16-week streak, and then we lost our stars, which is like the tipping thing on Facebook.
Okay. Is that what that noise was? That threw me off.
Yeah. So like people can tip stars on Facebook, and they can attach a message to it, and it'll read it out loud.
Gotcha.
Unless it's like some fucked up stuff, and then I will completely ignore it. Like the only rules we have on here is there's 2 rules basically: don't talk over me and no politics. That's the only 2 rules over here. Like anything else,
with all that.
Yeah, anything else is totally, we could talk about whatever. So yeah, let me ask you this: as somebody who, like, you rep Cleveland, you know what I mean?
I do my best.
Is this your first time living in Cleveland proper?
So I grew up in Lorain. I was there for like almost my whole life.
Okay.
About 2 years ago, I lived at the Brick Lofts in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
So I was there for a year.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now, but this is the first time like downtown,
So now Mr. I'm from Cleveland is actually in Cleveland.
Yeah. It would probably piss a lot of people off if they knew I'm from Lorain, but I don't hide that. I never have. I've always been like, I'm from Lorain, but like to them, it's just like a big thing when people are like, oh, you're from Cleveland, you're not from Cleveland. Like,
you know what's weird about that, man? And I've talked about this on here a couple of times. It's oh, Derek, thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. I bought it myself. I I've talked about it on here before. It seems like a lot of times people will get mad at other people for, building the city up or pointing out good things about the city. And it almost feels like they're upset because either A, they didn't think of it, or maybe usually that's what it is. They didn't think of it. Because it's not like you're repping Cleveland in a way like look at me, you know what I mean? I'm Cleveland, you know what I'm saying? Like
right.
you're pointing out like, hey, this person has connections to Cleveland. Hey, this famous person, they're from Cleveland. This good thing that happened, this happened in Cleveland. You know what I mean? So it's not like you're bringing a light to the city in a very positive way. I don't know if I've ever really seen y'all point out anything negative, really.
No, I mean, the whole goal is positivity.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And it's weird that people would get upset about that. You know what I mean? When you're not doing nothing but bringing positivity to the city. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's when some people don't feel like they're getting the love that they deserve. For whatever it is that they're doing, because we cover general culture, so it's not just music anymore.
Oh, okay. Wait, really quick. John Doe, what up, man? John Doe is in the chat. What's up, brother? One half of the Doe Bombers. What's popping? So y'all do more than music now, huh?
Yeah, because I mean, our foundation when we started was like strictly music. It was strictly hip hop.
Yeah,
Cleveland hip hop. So it's very, very niche. You know,
I feel like I remember that. How long ago was that? It was only like a few years back, right?
I mean, when we started it, that was like 10 years ago.
I wasn't
expanding like probably 4 or 5 years into it. So I mean, it's been a while now that we've kind of expanded outside of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, to get back to your point too.
Really quick, Roflay, what's popping, man? All the way from the UK, Mr. Roflay. Please continue.
To get back to your point where you're saying like, I don't get why people get mad about this or that. I think there's also a thing with people identifying being from Cleveland, like they say like the real Cleveland versus being like from a suburb or something like that. And there's like different ways to look at that. And I feel like we represent Cleveland and we try to represent Cleveland on a national scale.
Yeah.
Because like you pointed out, people are from Cleveland. They could be in LA, they could be in New York, whatever. And we're still, putting them on and being like, this person's from Cleveland. They're doing this or that.
And it seems like everywhere you go, there's somebody from Cleveland. Like you run into somebody from Cleveland. One of the issues that I kind of understand what you're saying when people say like the real Cleveland. So I moved here from the DMV, right? So I moved here from DC. And the thing about DC is that there was a lot of people from Maryland and Virginia at the time that would mess up DC's rep because they would go out of town and people would be like, where are you from? And they say DC. Yeah. I even still to this day meet people that, I'm like, where are you from? And they say DC, and I'll say what part, and they'll say like Germantown, which is out in Maryland, or Bethesda, which is out in Maryland. You know what I mean? Or like Arlington, which is Virginia. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that same thing happens, not on obviously a tri-state scale, but the same thing happens here, where people will be from not even a city really, like Lima, and go out of town, and people like, where are you from? And they say Cleveland. Because a lot of people from other states don't know what Akron is. Or I think, honestly, until LeBron popped off, you know what I mean? People out of state really didn't know about Akron all like that. And that's not a diss to Akron at all.
No, but
you know what I mean?
Obviously, he shined a big light.
Yeah, a huge light. Where like if you go to Miami and tell somebody you're from Akron, they're not going to know where the hell you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Until LeBron is doing these things in Akron, because there's people from out of state that think LeBron's from Cleveland, like from Cleveland. You know what I mean? And when you tell them, that dude's from like 40 minutes away, like Akron somewhere, you're like, wait, what? When we were in, when we went on a cruise, we were in Miami, and people were asking like where we were down from. We would say Cleveland. They would bring up LeBron James. I'm like, he's actually from Akron. Like and he didn't even live in Cleveland. Didn't he live in like Bath? Or something like that.
I think so. Honestly,
or Green, Ohio. It was somewhere with big houses and shit like that.
Right.
But yeah, it's really strange, man. That it would be one thing if you were a rapper and you were repping Cleveland. You know what I mean? But you're bringing something positive to the city. It's kind of strange to me that they don't see that. It's a weird thing. It's a really weird thing.
I will say a lot of people that in the past have like really talked down on the brand, couple years later are the same people that are like, yo, I love what you guys are doing. you know?
Really?
Yeah.
How often does that happen? Obviously, we're not going to name any names, but how often does that happen?
I mean, it's happened enough, you know?
Gonzo said he lived in Bath. Yeah. Thank you, Gonzo. Appreciate it. Chris said, I say from Cleveland all the way down here in Willard, an hour and a half away.
Hey, man.
Oh, man, that is hilarious. All the way in Willard. Where the hell is Willard, Ohio?
I don't know.
Yo, Chris, where's Willard, Ohio? Like, I need to know where that is, man.
All we know is it's an hour and a half away.
Right, yeah, it's a whole hour and a half away. I feel like I'm giving Chris the wrong sound effect. Hold on a second. There we go. Because Chris is a whole ass dad. So just so you know, like the sound effects, dads get the air horn, moms get the round of applause, and then obviously our guests as well. But moms get a round of applause. Regular people get the explosion, and then our vets, we got a sound for the vets. That's what they get.
Nice.
So, and also first responders and stuff like that, they'll also get an air horn. So, Chris gets the air horn for multiple reasons. One, because he's a dad. Two, because he was a former peace officer, if you will. Chris, were you ever in the military? John, you got an air horn because you're a dad, man. So, tell me more about the. I mean, you know what's weird? I promised you, like, I wouldn't be sitting here asking you questions, but this shit is so fascinating right now.
Hey, man, shoot them more.
Tell me more about the people that, like, obviously you don't have to name names, but the people that, like, hated on the brand first and then all of a sudden did a 180. Usually, how long does that take? Was that like over time? Were they hating when you first started? And then once it built up, did they all of a sudden turn around and was like, yo, man, loving what you're doing and so on and so forth?
Yeah, and it's like to the extreme where it's not only like these people like didn't like what we were doing, but they went out of their way to like say, you know, pretty strong words, negative words about it.
Oh, okay.
And then literally years, like over the course of years, they'll come back, and that's one specific example, but it's happened multiple times. But yeah, I think they just eventually see the big picture of what we're trying to do.
They see what you're doing. They see what you're doing. So. The Gonzo.
Let's make it rain in here, people. I still want my pew pew sound effects.
I'm working on it, Gonzo. I'm working on it. Gonzo just trying to make it rain up in here, sir.
That's great.
With the loose change. That's a hailstorm. They're making a hailstorm up in here.
Oh, man.
So let me ask you this. Damn it, I said this wasn't going to be an interview, but
we're here.
I'm curious. There's a couple things that I'm curious about because I feel like I've had a similar experience. Has there been people that have hated on the brand like at first and then tried to get you to promote them or you know, put them out there like afterwards?
Yeah.
Again, we're not naming names, but
yes, this has happened, and also to the point of where like, so one of the things that I do is I share music. I used to try to do it every month where I'd put on our IGTV a group, like a compilation of just artists that have released music recently.
Yeah.
And that would like, there's a whole process for me to do that, and I collect music as I find it, as I'm scrolling, as I'm sending it, like however, you know, somebody tells me about it. And so I have a doc that I'll go down, and you know, sometimes you can only put so many people in one video. And so this person's lined up for like the next video.
Oh.
And they don't know. Like I haven't told, you know, it's just like it's in my notes, like they're going to be included in this next video. And I've taken people off of the list because of like shit that they have said to me. Like so I also have not though too, because like I try not to always let that affect me, because I'm just like, that's my personal feelings versus like, oh, I actually like the song, I want people to hear it. Yeah,
you're professional. You're professional.
So I try to do that like a lot, but like if it's to an extent, like certain things that people say just shows total disrespect. Like,
it's like super egregious.
Why would I can put somebody else that's gonna like respect that and like appreciate that spot versus them. You know? And so that's what I'll do.
That's what's up. Scotty Cash said, also shout out Scotty Cash. Scotty Cash said, fuck that, name him. Nah, we're not doing we're not throwing shade out here like that, Scott. I've had similar situations, much smaller scale, of people that have hated on the podcast and streaming. And then when I first started it, there was a lot of love. Like, let me start with that. There was a lot of love. Like, all of my friends and all of my peers, it was a lot of love. And then there would be like randoms that would pop up and be like, why is he doing that? Like, what does he think he's doing? Like, it's trash. It's not even funny, this, that, and the third, right? But then literally months later, hey man, when you going to have me on the podcast? And I'm like, bro, the thing about Cleveland is it's a big city, but it's a very small city too. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And like, what gets done in the dark comes to the light. And it's especially true here because somebody is going to tell you, you know what I mean? Like, if somebody's talking trash, about I'm from Cleveland, right? Y'all motherfuckers are like 50, 60,000 fucking followers strong. Somebody's going to say something. Like, it's going to get back to you. You know what I mean? And especially in a space of, for lack of a better word, entertainment. You know what I mean? In a space of media, whether you're a musical artist, a producer, a DJ, a graphic artist, whatever it is, that's a very small clique. There's a bunch of cliques, but it's a very small clique. So if you're a rapper and you're talking shit about that brand, like, it's going to get back to you. You know what I mean? And also, I don't understand how people don't understand that things are a process. Like, you have your process, just like you said, you have a list and you work down that list because you can only fit so many in a video. Yeah. And even not knowing that you did that, me, as like the way that I think about things, right? It would make sense. Like, if, let's say I saw you do a list of podcasters, right? I'm not going to be like, yo, what the fuck, man? You didn't include me? Because I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of podcasters, you know, in the city. I'm pretty sure it makes sense. You can only fit so many on the list, and, you know, you'll get around to it. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't, if months from now you didn't, then have a conversation.
And I would say, like, if you don't and you do have an issue with it, like, reach out. Like, we could talk about it.
Reach out and chat about it. Have a conversation. I feel like people don't have conversations enough. A lot of times when you're passionate about something, and this is kind of like one of the topics that I had listed, when your passion becomes like a business, when you're passionate about something, you're not looking at things from an objective standpoint anymore. You know what I mean? You're kind of looking at things in such an angry way, in such a passionate way. Like, an example is like, let's say, you know, celebrity A sleeps with celebrity B and then cheats on celebrity B with celebrity C, right? And you'll have a lot of people saying, yo, that person's a piece of shit. Like, if that was my daughter, then this, that, and the third, right? And I'm like, well, you can't think of it like that. You know what I mean? You can't think of it as if that was your daughter or if that was your son, because that's too close. You know what I mean? Even the police, they don't let you really investigate. Like, if a murder happens in your family, they're not letting you investigate that. Right. Usually. That's what happens on TV. So I'm just assuming. Chris, can you confirm or deny that? Usually they're not going to let you investigate that because you're too close to it. You're too passionate about it. You're not going to make the right decisions. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's that same thing when you're passionate about your art. You know what I mean? Which is like, yeah, I'm not looking at it objectively because I'm so passionate about this. And I'm not saying me, but that person, they're so passionate about it and they want to get it out to the people. And if you're not doing that right then and there, now they have beef with you. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not looking at it objectively. They're not looking at it as it's a process. Your time will come. Give it time. You know what I mean? It's just me.
And that's also, like, I get that too. Like, you know, there's reasoning for a lot of things that happen and the way people act or what they say. And that's why I said, like, you know, you can always have a conversation about it and things like that. But yeah, when you're passionate about, in my case, like music, if we're talking about that specifically, I get why they do feel that way. Like, they think they deserve it, you know?
Yeah.
But there also still is just a process of how things work, you know, and like networking and just doing the right thing to get your name out there, you know?
Right.
So I just think
I feel like at some point, you know, if you're doing what you need to do, your name's going to get out there. You know what I mean? Yes, there's factors involved. Luck plays a part a lot of times, connections a lot of times. But if you're doing what you're doing and you love it and you're truly about it, I feel like your name your name will get out there. And Gonzo said when that happens, it becomes a conflict of interest. Yeah, Gonzo, exactly. And I if I'm not mistaken, it's also because the like something about like, you know, the evidence might not be admissible because you're also that's part of the conflict of interest is because you're too close to the situation as well. But yeah, you're absolutely right. And Travis said, also shout out Travis. Travis said, just like doctors can't do surgery on family members. I didn't know that. Doctors aren't able to do surgery on family members. Also, I gave Travis the wrong sound effect. My bad, Trav. My bad, TJ.
You got two.
My bad, yeah. My fault, sir. My fault. Yeah, I didn't know doctors aren't allowed to do surgery on family members. That's interesting. Is it because they're probably, you know, if it's their family member, they're probably like, fuck, like I got to get this right. That might make them like overly nervous.
Or pressure or something.
Yeah,
no idea.
Let me ask you this. You talked about when you first started, I'm from Cleveland, and we were talking off camera a little bit. How did you start it? Like, what was the initial idea? Was it always I'm from Cleveland, or did it start as something else and then kind of morph into I'm from Cleveland? Or
yeah, you nailed it on the head right there. So, let's see. Take me back to 13 years old, and I hear a song from DJ EV's mixtape, "Bitch I'm from Cleveland" Volume 2. And I was like, yo, this song's like really, really dope.
Mm-hmm.
I probably didn't use those words back then, but this song's really dope. And
really quick before you continue, really fast.
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting how when we think about stuff from our past, right? Like I do that same thing. So I'll talk about like the first sci-fi movie I ever saw, and I'll think to myself that my reaction was like, yo, this is dope. I didn't talk like that back then.
Especially if you're like looking back to like when you were a kid.
Yeah. I definitely wasn't saying anything was dope. That was just a quick little side note. My bad. Didn't mean to interrupt you. Please continue.
Oh, no, you're good. So I heard the one song is Two Gun Cannon. It's called The O.
Okay.
And I think I went on YouTube to try and listen to it or something. And this is like before people were streaming music on YouTube, and if they were, it wasn't like a popular thing.
Yeah.
And so I just
also welcome to the chat, Jason. Appreciate you being here, bro. Please continue, sir.
Yeah, and I just had the idea of putting that up on YouTube so that people could find it there.
Okay.
And it got a few thousand views, and I was like, oh, like that's just so random. Like it's really dope. Like people are actually using it and listening to it. So I did the same thing with other songs by like local artists.
Yeah.
And the channel then was called Cleveland Music. And that was like my YouTube channel back then. And eventually like I branded myself as that, like sort of.
Also really quick, Jared Miller just shouted you out. He said, hey, John. Wait, you know Jared, right?
Yep.
Is Jared a dad or no?
I couldn't tell you. I haven't talked to Jared in a while, but Jared's that dude. So
Jared, are you a dad? Is he military? Is he just a normal civilian? Not just a normal civilian, because I don't want to give him the wrong sound effect. Jared, can you let me know if you're a dad or if you are a first responder or a military vet or anything like that?
I went to grade school with Jared.
Oh wow, yeah. I'm gonna blow it up for that. I'm gonna blow it up for that. Please continue, sir, and then once I figure out once I figure Jared out, I will give him the proper sound effect, but please continue.
So, yeah.
And Gonzo said, I still have a bitch I'm from Cleveland hoodie in my closet.
That's dope.
That's what's up.
Dope. So, yeah, once I got to the point where I put up a couple songs, normal guy, says Jared.
He said, normal guy. All right, we're blowing it up for Jared. Blowing it up for Jared.
All right, so I'm at the point I'm trying to think of where I was at.
We were talking about, you said you heard the song.
Yeah, I put the one song up, got a few thousand views, and I was like, oh, I'm about to do that same thing. And then it kind of just became like a hub on YouTube for like local music.
Okay.
And eventually I was on his MySpace page. I left a comment.
Holy shit, MySpace.
Yeah.
Did he have glitter and shit on his MySpace page?
I couldn't tell.
Remember when people used to do that shit? Fucking put like little glitter and unicorns and fucking
you do a lot, which was cool.
Do some wild shit.
I think a lot of people learned like slight coding back then.
People learned some HTML from doing that, like very simple HTML. But people also, I will say this, sometimes chicks got carried the fuck away. And you would go to their page and your whole computer would fucking freeze because of all that bullshit. They were doing the most. Please continue, sir.
Yeah. So left that comment on Evie's MySpace page, and he was like, "Whoever runs this page, send me an email." And so I created a whole new email because my first reaction back then was like, "Oh, this dude's gonna be mad that I put songs from his tape on YouTube or something." Very first thought, and then so I made a whole new email account. Didn't have my name attached to it or anything, and I was like, "Yo, like I run the account. Like, what's going on?"
Wait, you were saying that the dude who made the song was going to be mad about it?
I thought so. It was featured on Evie's mixtape.
Okay.
I thought. And so once Evie told me to email him because I commented on his page, my first thought was, "Oh, he's gonna tell me like take these songs down."
Oh, okay. You thought Evie was gonna be pissed. Okay,
yeah,
okay. Really quick, shout out Matt Andrews Mentoring all the way from the UK. Please, sir.
Turns out he wasn't mad, which is good.
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing.
He the email said something along the lines of, instead of doing just a YouTube channel, why don't we create like a website? We'll call it I'm From Cleveland. It'll be based off of like the Bitch I'm From Cleveland mixtapes. And so that's kind of where him and I merged at that time to create I'm From Cleveland. And it was like, also we went with I'm From Cleveland instead of Bitch I'm From Cleveland because it's it's a different idea.
Yeah.
But also just I think marketing was easier. I'm From Cleveland versus Bitch I'm From Cleveland. Also, I was like 13, so.
Kevin said that Cleveland music tag still rings in my head.
That's so dope. I still, some people still play that even like at their gigs and shit, which is dope. So,
for real? That's what's up.
I remember being at like a concert. I don't know. I was probably 16 or 17 at the time, and I heard like someone play my tag, and I don't even know how they got it. And then like the next person that performs is performed a song that I released exclusively for them, and it's just like seeing that kind of.
Who did the actual tag?
So I took audio from Chip the Ripper and MGK.
Okay.
So the Chip audio was from a song where he goes Cleveland, and so I chopped it up. It goes Cleveland. Yeah. And then the other part is from a Z1079 freestyle that MGK did, where he goes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was a throwback. So he goes.
Yeah, that's like way back.
Some Cleveland music, and so I took that and I took the whole part of that, so it goes Cleveland and then Cleveland music. So I merged like the two, and it's cool too because like that was before like MGK was like super popular.
Yeah,
he was he was like on MTV and shit. At
people
that time,
weren't really super heavy checking for Cleveland at that time.
No,
you know what I mean?
So
I think like obviously Chip and all those guys they did their thing. And was Cuddy really blowing at that time?
I'm trying to think of like what that was, probably like 2010. So he was already he was doing his thing a little bit. Because 2008 I think is when the first album dropped. 2010 second. So he already had some.
When his first album dropped, it didn't really take off until, because remember people, and I'm talking globally, weren't really checking for Cuddy until the Crookers remixed Day and Night.
Yeah, that's where it took off like internationally.
Yeah. On a global front. I mean, obviously people from here knew about him, and maybe some people from the surrounding areas. But yeah, I feel like he really took off when the Crookers made the remix, to the point that like the first time I had ever heard him was that song, and then when I heard the original, I thought that was the remix.
Got you.
I was like, who made a hip hop version of this song?
Yeah. I heard it. I think I heard it in 2008. I was in 8th grade or like going into freshman.
Yeah.
And then he performed his homecoming show in 2009.
Okay.
In July 2009, and the album didn't come out for another couple months.
Okay,
so that was before like even debuted the album, which was dope because I got to hear like some of that Man on the Moon 1 like perform live, which is like,
that's what's up. I actually met him once and got a chance to like sit and chop it up with him for a hot second, and he told me that he shopped around Day and Night for like 2 years or something like that. Like he shopped it around on MySpace for like a year and some change, and then shopped it around for another year after that. And then when A-Track had got his hands on it the Crookers were on A-Track's label at the time.
Gold.
Yeah, and he was like, "Yo, I need y'all to remix this." Yeah. And it kind of put both of them on the map. So Cleveland out here making people that ain't even, are the Crookers even from the States?
I have no idea.
I don't even think they're from the States, to be honest with you.
I don't know much about them outside of that, for real.
That's what's up, man. Cleveland is an interesting spot. So you that's where the drop came from. Please continue with the story of how I'm from Cleveland was created, because this is fascinating to me. This is something that I've kind of wondered for a while. Like, honestly, from the first time like I had heard about it and met you, I've kind of wondered that. And I had knew about it before. I had knew about I'm from Cleveland before I met you, and then when I met you, and I'm like, okay, this is the brains behind the operation here, and I've been wanting to ask you about it for a long time, but I just never got a chance to.
Yeah, well, that's love, man.
Yeah, I feel like the last time we actually were able to chop it up, other than me working on your computer, was at the Ilty shop when it was in Lakewood. There was a photo shoot going on, and I was heated because Connor fucking grabbed my bike. Do you remember this?
Shit.
He grabbed my bike was there. I don't like people touching my bike. He grabbed my bike and was like taking pictures with it. I was like, yo, what the fuck? I wasn't like for real heated. I wasn't about to beat him up or nothing like that. But I was like, yo, I didn't know him. You know what I mean? So I was like, I was asking Glenn, I was like, who the fuck is this guy grabbing my bike? And he's like, that's Connor. I was like, who the fuck is Connor? Then I asked Eric, I'm like, yo, get your man. He just grabbed it like his confidence was just like, like it was his.
Connor's got confidence. He's always had confidence.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah, the way he grabbed it, I was like, this motherfucker grabbed my bike like he built it or some shit.
That's funny. Yeah, shout out to Connor.
Shout out to Connor, man. Connor's the homie.
I was talking to him a little bit earlier today. We haven't caught up for real in quite a while, but
yeah,
he played a huge part in from Cleveland, and like
That's
really, I would say like one of the biggest things that he did was like brought me out of my shell and the places like it's hard even now to get me to go out in public for a lot.
I never see you out.
Yeah,
I'm always out.
But now that I'm actually closer, like I'm trying to, but like. Shit, I take antidepressant for like social anxiety.
Okay.
So before I was on that,
I think people call that weed. I think they.
It's called. It's not weed, but depending on who you are, I think that weed will either help or hurt that kind of anxiety. But the antidepressant that I take, like before that, it was real bad. Like. I was mentioning like how I turned red, like it'll still happen, but before it took nothing.
Oh, it was just like instant.
And like I couldn't really. 8th grade, one of the worst, like one of the best examples of this is my teacher calling on me, and I would literally not respond. I would not say a word until she called on someone else. I wouldn't say I don't know.
Shit!
And it would be like just her waiting. Like my friends would make fun of me now because they're like, "Yo, she was just waiting for you to say something."
You ain't say shit.
And like that's how bad my anxiety was. I couldn't even get out words.
You were like, I ain't saying nothing.
Yeah,
man, that's bananas.
Yeah, it was.
It's also one of the benefits of being black, because you can't see us turn red. Because I'm shy as fuck, believe it or not. I'm shy as hell.
That does surprise me.
And it's why I wear glasses when I DJ. Because it puts a barrier. They're not prescription. It puts a barrier between me and the people. But I would probably be red as fuck most times, especially if I'm in a new place.
Yeah.
Like now at like Barley or Velvet or whatever, I know everyone there, so it's not a big deal. But if I'm like at a new venue, oh bro, I'm my face is so warm. I know I'm red. If I was white, I would be red as hell. You know what I mean? But that's just one of the benefits of having melanin. But you have a telltale face, man.
Oh yeah.
It when it gets red, it gets red.
Oh yeah.
Chris said, "Can we talk about how Ray Jr.'s Sloppy still slaps?" I'm not gonna lie, that song is dope. I'm not even gonna lie.
Ray's got some bangers.
Yeah, I still play it. I played it Friday, as a matter of fact. It's wild to think about this. When you think about songs that stand the test of time, right? You always think about these songs from other places. We're going to get back to the story of I'm from Cleveland, but I just wanted to point this out real quick.
For sure.
You always think about songs from other places. And I don't think a lot of people here realize that songs like Sloppy and Fat Al Came Down. Those two songs are like songs. They came out what? Like 10, 11 years ago or something like that?
Al Fats was even probably around there, but Sloppy was a little bit later.
Yeah.
But still, it's been
years ago. And they still, like, you can still play those songs. I play those songs. I go to other states and play them. And people, people know them. You know what I mean? And I don't think a lot of, which is why we need something like I'm from Cleveland to point things like that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I need to be having conversations with people that are doing that.
Yeah.
And know that can happen so that I can tell people.
Exactly.
You know, like,
exactly.
You just let me know, like, it's not that I don't know that those songs will go up, but you're saying you're playing them now and they're still going, like, that's dope.
Yeah.
That's really
you want to know something funny, really quick? I remember a long time ago, and some of my friends in the chat, probably John can attest to this. I remember a long time ago, I had made a post, and I had never seen anybody post it, but I had made a post, and because people were talking about, the Cleveland area, and obviously I'm not a native, I'm an import, but I had made a post, and I'm like, yo, y'all do realize that Cleveland is home to the only artists to do songs with Pac, Biggie, and I think Pun. I think Bone did songs with all three of them, if I'm not mistaken.
I know the first two for sure.
For sure. I think they did a song with Pun. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I know they definitely did songs with Pac and Big. Yep. So, and I'm like, that's huge because nobody else has that. If I'm not mistaken, I think they did a song with Pun because nobody else has done that at all.
Yeah, that's unique.
At that time, a lot of people in the comments was like, yo, I didn't realize this. You know what I mean? Now, later it became a meme or something like that. But a long, long time ago, before that meme was ever around, I had posted that. And it was weird to me that so many people in the city didn't really know that.
Yeah. And that's one of my favorite comments to see on our page is, oh, I didn't know they were from Cleveland. I didn't know this was going on, blah, blah. It's like, that's the whole point of us sharing it, And so that's one of my favorite things to see. I didn't know this so-and-so was from Cleveland. Mm-hmm. And it's for specific people, too, more so than others.
Yeah,
like everyone knows Steve Harvey, whatever. But then there's some other people, Alina Perez.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's from Cleveland.
I never knew that.
So that's one example.
And I know who that is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I figured that's someone people will know, but might not know she's from Cleveland. Yeah, she's from Cleveland. And I can go and find other names. I have them saved somewhere. Like this person's from Cleveland. You probably don't know that.
Yeah.
So just that kind of shit is really dope to me to get people knowledgeable about. So
hell yeah. Jared, were they on that song? When I Die with Pun and Fat Joe, were they on that song? Was Bone on that song? Because if they were, maybe that's the song. I just know they did songs. They did songs with them. I'd have to look at the song. You know what's weird? I don't know names of songs. I usually don't know names of songs. I have so many songs.
Yeah, that's the problem. There's too many.
So many songs. I know where they're at. I know what they sound like. I can tell you every word of the song, but I don't really know names of them. I stopped trying to remember names a long time ago. You know what I mean? Especially as a DJ, I'm like, I don't need to know the names.
Right.
I don't even know the names of the artists a lot of times. You know what I mean?
You're going to run through so many tracks. It's like.
Chris said Tracy Chapman. Is Tracy Chapman from Cleveland?
Yep.
Wait, really?
Yeah. We posted about that too. And
dude, I'm learning shit right now. Yeah. I love this. Liz, what's up? My sister's in the chat holding it down the Twitchosphere. And DJ Billy C is also in the chat on Instagram. What up? So continuing with the story of I'm from Cleveland, sir, please.
Yeah. So I think we're at the point where basically Evie responded to my email and was like, hey, let's just start up a website rather than just having a YouTube. And then for a little while, we just kept focusing really on music. And then, like I said, eventually we expanded. But I remember just back in those days, even my YouTube days, when I was trying to grow that, some things techniques that I would do, I would go and find other videos that were on YouTube that were Cleveland related in some way or something, or it was an artist official page that posted it, and I would go leave comments. I would like people's stuff, and then I would also start messaging people and saying hey, I saw you like this. You probably like this as well because it's Cleveland related, blah blah. So I was doing a whole bunch of outreach and stuff as a teenager, just not really knowing what I was doing, but I was just kind of doing whatever I could to get people hip.
So there's a lot of research that goes into it, huh?
I realized when I started working at a marketing agency, as one of my internships years ago, that I was doing things that they were trying to teach me, and I was like, oh, I've done
been doing that
in different ways and things like that, but also just different ways of thinking to apply it. But there were things that I had done that I was like, wow, I can really relate to a lot of the stuff, or I'm a step ahead because I already know,
Really quick, Chris asks, were you part of Leak Jones or was that a separate ordeal?
Yeah. So I was doing the first thing that Evie had me do was the Drizzy effect.
Okay.
Because he was doing the so and so effect mixtapes.
I remember that. I remember that.
And so he made a website for Drake back in the day. It was a Drake fan website.
Oh, was this before he was signed? when he was still doing doing independent shit?
I'm not sure where he was at in his career at that time because it was like a very like short period of time like that I was doing that. But that's how I started. I remember doing my first blog post. The image was like all stretched out, and like I sent it to him, and like I was like, man, I'm like embarrassed to send this, but I don't know how to fix it. All this shit.
Yeah.
So like that was like me really getting into it, and then Leek Jones, and I'm from Cleveland.
Okay.
But yeah, at one point, I was doing a lot of Leek Jones by myself.
Okay.
Which was like, it was like a national.
Oh, DJ Raven is in the house. What up? So you were part of Leek Jones.
Yeah, and that's the EV's brand. You know, that's his one of his babies. But I was helping out during like a critical point. I remember Pegs too. Shout out to Pegs because he was.
Let's blow it up for Pegs.
Big time because he was like him and EV were the two that really like brought me in with the Leek Jones shit and like showed me like just how a lot of things work, how to get in on the back end and make things happen. So,
hell yeah,
yeah.
So the continuation of I'm from Cleveland.
Yeah.
Where were we? Where are we at now? Now we're at the point where you're doing your research. You're getting information. People are sending you things because I would imagine that this stuff wasn't just readily available. Because when you really think about it, like think about this and correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody in the chat, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. People didn't really start repping Cleveland until, you know, kind of recently. And what I mean by recent, like maybe 10 years ago or something like that, like people really, and obviously the people here were repping it, but like your celebrities that are from here, you never really heard, honestly, in my experience, the only quote unquote celebrities that I ever heard at one point repping Cleveland was obviously Bone Thugs and Harmony, and then Steve Harvey. Every now and again, he would say, he'd be like, I'm from the projects, Cleveland. I'm from, you know, the projects in Cleveland. Like he would say that, but I never really heard other people saying that. Like I never heard, Halle Berry say she's from Cleveland. Wait, Halle Berry's from Cleveland, right? Yep. Never heard Halle Berry say she's from Cleveland.
Bedford. Some people might not.
Not
Cleveland, Bedford.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I never heard her say it. You know what I mean? One of my favorite comics, freaking Calvin and Hobbes. That dude's from Cleveland.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the dude's from Cleveland. A little nugget of information for you.
That's something I'll store.
Yeah. Put that in the Rolodex. Yeah, that dude's from the Cleveland area. I didn't know that Superman was invented in Cleveland. You know what I mean? So people weren't really repping it really hard. Adam King is in the chat. What up, sir? Adam King always sneaks into the chat, like I never see when he's watching. He said Arsenio Hall and Drew Barry have too. Yes. I never heard Arsenio say it until recently. But yeah, Drew Barry for sure. But I wasn't really following Drew Barry at that time, you know what I mean? Chris said, what does Logan Paul say though? I'm pretty sure he says Cleveland. But where is he from? Like Westlake or something like that?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. We're going to get back to the creation of I'm from Cleveland. Let me ask you this. So there's been a lot of debate on whether people are from Cleveland. I'm not going to go specifically with the Paul brothers, but a lot of people sometimes will say Cleveland, Westlake isn't Cleveland, you know, Bedford isn't Cleveland. Something that I noticed is that whenever it's positive, those areas are Cleveland. But when it's negative, those areas aren't Cleveland anymore. You know what I mean?
I think for the most part, but there are some people that stick to it, you know.
Yes, for sure.
But there is there is definitely something there.
Yeah, like with what was it that was going on out in the suburbs? The fucking heroin epidemic that started happening in Westlake and in those areas. All of a sudden, Westlake wasn't Cleveland at that point.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But then somebody does some shit, like the Paul brothers do some crazy shit. You know what I mean? Makes a bunch of money. And now Westlake is Cleveland again. Yeah. And my opinion has always been, look, if it's Cleveland, it's Cleveland, for better or for worse. Like DC is DC. You know what I mean? Like we don't get to say, oh, well, DC's the murder capital. No, that's not DC. That's Arlington. You know what I mean? Like the DMV is the DMV. So I feel like some people's representation, like if you're going to, again, I'm an import. I have no dog in the fight. But if you're going to rep it, if it's going to be a part of it, it's got to be a part of it for better or for worse. It's like a marriage, you know what I mean? So when the negative things happen, it still has to fall on Cleveland. Right. You know what I mean? When the positive things happen, it's yin and yang. You can't have positive without negative. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It can't just be all good all the time. It's
right.
like, you know, somebody's going to fuck up something at some point.
I will say, like, that's the point of our brand is to show the positive.
The positive.
We won't touch all the negative shit for multiple reasons. I think, like, not to bring awareness, because, like, it's good to bring awareness to certain things that aren't good, too, you know? Yeah. But, we really focus on the positive.
I feel like the negative is handled. I feel like the news takes care of that sometimes.
We don't got to touch on that. They take care of it, and we can keep doing the positive shit.
Definitely stay. Oh, my man Changus is in the chat. What's up, bro? And Chris said Willard sure as fuck ain't. It's not part of Willard's not part of Cleveland, Chris. Come on now. Okay, back to the creation of this wonderful I'm from Cleveland.
Yeah. Well, so I feel like I touched on how the base was created, like the platform.
Oh, my cousin Damien, what up? Let me ask you this. What was it like turning something, because obviously this is something that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
What was it like going from a passion project to a business?
So I still largely view it as a passion project because almost never money will like make me do something or not. Like,
right.
I'm always putting like just how I feel about it first. I remember back before I had made any money, like zero money on doing this, there were people that were like, yo, like, can you post my song? I will pay you. Like, they were saying that before I was like off, like, you know, wasn't even thinking about that at all. And even then I didn't do it. I was like, no, I'll just post it. Like, I like your music. Why would I take your money? Like, so that was part of like just an interesting like learning curve, which I still do the same thing. If I like something, like I'm most likely going to share it. You know, or I feel like it deserves to be. But there is also business aspects to it, especially when we're partnering with other businesses, things like that. So there's like real parts to it. But I have it like pretty split between passion project and business. Okay. In my head.
Okay.
Which I feel like is a unique approach.
I was about to say that's an extremely unique approach because you rarely see.
Well, I've always held like a job, you know, and like that's what pays my bills, and that allows me to keep the happiness of what I'm doing.
I feel that,
because otherwise, if it's all about money and I have to start making decisions, like I have to do this to make money now with the brand because I'm not making money any other way. Then I start doing things that don't represent the brand in the way that I want them to, and I don't know. I think it falls out.
That's what's up, man. I'm gonna blow it up for that. I feel like one of the mistakes that creatives tend to make is not diversifying their income streams. You know what I mean? So that, you know, their passion can remain their passion, as opposed to becoming, I have to do this because I have to make money. You know, you see it a lot with like influencers and things like that. Like, you'll have like influencers on these platforms, Instagram, TikTok, things like that, and they'll start making money from it. And then one of the mistakes that they make is they don't diversify. They don't open a merch store. They don't, you know, do other things to bring income in. That way, when these shady companies approach them about doing brand deals, they're not like, okay, yeah, I'll do that because they have to. You know what I mean? There's a lot of times I'll see people on social media promoting some bullshit, and it's just like, what are they doing? And then you realize, oh, they don't do anything else. You know what I mean? Whereas you were like, okay, I'm gonna work this other job as well. This is what's gonna pay my bills. The money from this is cool. However, in order to keep, you know, for your mental health, you're still gonna work this other job. You enjoy your other job, right?
Yeah, I love it.
It'd be a little different if it was like.
well, no. Now I just got in. I've been at this job for like 6 or 7 months.
Okay.
Before that though, I was working hella odd jobs.
Oh, okay.
I did valet.
Yeah.
I was a truck driver. I delivered caskets as a truck
Whoa,
driver.
okay, hold on.
Yeah, nobody ever stops. Everybody stops right there.
Yeah, hold on a second. You were delivering caskets?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Very interesting, man. Like nothing I've ever done before.
I mean, obviously before people were in them, right? Reed was popping, bro.
We're taking them from the warehouse to the funeral home.
Okay.
Which, you know, it's definitely.
Chris said people were dying to see him. Hold on a second. Chris, Chris with the dad jokes. Chris with the dad jokes. So you were taking them from the warehouse to the to like the funeral home?
Yeah. And so you know, every once in a while, like I'd see a body, which is
oof.
weird.
Yeah, that's a weird thing.
Yeah.
I've seen a bunch in my life. Like it's a so I came from I always tell people I came from a very violent place, and it all you know, all like in DC and in Brazil, honestly, like you're gonna see some bodies somewhere, and it's you smell them. It's not a smell you ever forget. You know what I mean? It's like that's something that sticks with you for a long time. So seeing one, yeah, first time was a weird situation. Reed said, "What's good, boss? Not much, man. We just out here podcasting, homie. Out here podcasting, doing what we do." So you were delivering caskets. What did you say you did after that?
Before that, I was actually at AT&T.
Okay. Like in the store or like corporate branch?
So I had a unique position. It was called event expert. So
okay.
Basically what we would do is we would take AT&T branded vehicles, like a van or a big box truck, and we would set up at events. It could be as big as like a festival, small as like a indoor craft show. And we would show off like the DirecTV demo, the phones, whatever. At first, it was supposed to be like sort of a job where it's just like more so like promotion for them, you know. But then they ended up giving us what's it called, a quota.
Okay.
So nobody was really meeting the quotas in the whole state or even outside of the state. And it was
so at first it was just something extra.
When I first signed up, I knew I had a quota, but before we even got into that position, that's kind of what they were doing.
It was just like promo.
Yeah. But then they're like, you know, you have to sell this many, whatever. And I would never, in that job, I would never reach the goal.
Yeah.
Nobody would.
I was about to say, does anybody ever reach quotas?
Well, I think my one of my best friends works at AT&T, and he like killed it in a whole bunch of different stores.
Really?
So
did they lower the quota?
No, he was just
he was just that good.
He was really good. Yeah, they would take him from a store that was that he got in a really good position, and then they would put him in one that was struggling to do the same thing. But with this job, it was just like I didn't have a manager for the first 2 months I was there. I was only there for 6 months because then I was like, I gotta leave. And my one friend was delivering caskets, and he got me in there. So I left a better paying job at AT&T because it was the most stressful thing.
Yeah, that's stressful. That's stressful.
Doing that, which was the easiest job I've had in the sense of just like it was very simple. You know?
And there was no quotas.
Exactly.
Yeah. Quotas are a terrible thing. Like I think quotas are, I think one of the reasons why one of the situations where cops get a bad rap is because they have to meet these quotas, like these speeding ticket quotas. So they're pulling people over for doing 5 miles over or something like that. You know what I mean? Or pulling people over for anything because there's a quota that they have to reach. Yeah. It's quotas are a terrible thing, man. I just let people do their job. Let people operate and do their job.
I think you have to have some sort of goals, you know.
Yeah, goals are good.
But I don't know, just the way that was my only like real sales job that I've had.
Yeah.
So I don't have any other experience to really like compare it to outside of like the sales stuff I'm from Cleveland, which is, you know,
I feel like goals are okay. Saying, hey, we would like for you to sell some phones. You know what I mean? Like, if you can sell this many, that would be great. We're mainly doing this for promotion, but if you can get some sales out of it, that would be beautiful. But saying, listen, sell this many or your job is done. Like, that's a whole other thing.
The other thing was it was basically seen as like a punishment. We'd have like a 7 a.m. call. If you didn't meet your quota, you'd have to get up and talk, and like that's like 2 hours before your shift started, and
yeah, that's stressful.
You're waking me up, like
that's too much stress, dude. That is way too much stress. I wouldn't do well with that. So then you got into selling caskets, which
delivering.
My bad. Delivering caskets, which is clearly a much less stressful job. You just show up. Did you even have to load them?
Yeah, into the trucks.
Yeah. So you had to load them into the truck.
Like, there's a lift on the back, you know, and all that. But yeah, so we would take them out. We'd go and actually get the order. We'd see the order number, pull them. We'd unbox them, and then from there, like wipe them down, make sure all the pillows, blankets are folded right, blah blah. Then get it to the trucks, and we'd all have our own routes. And like sometimes, especially like on the weekends and just certain places that we deliver to, sometimes there's no one there, so we have like the code, and so it'll just be me alone at this funeral home.
That's creepy.
And then they're inside there, you know, you see the bodies that they're like are prepared.
Yeah, that's like that's fucking creepy, dude.
It's wild. So
that's fucking creepy.
But you know, that my other friend who got me into the job was already gone by the time I started it.
Oh, really?
He was like, he said when he told me about it, he's like, just don't say my name. Whatever you do, don't say my name. I was like, all right, like I don't. He's like, I know they need people, but just don't say my name. And so by the time I was there, I thought he was gonna be working with me, but he wasn't even there.
He was ghost.
He told me, he's like, yeah.
He was like, fuck this, I'm out.
It wasn't for him, but for me, I did it for quite a while. It was like over a year.
Okay. Okay.
But like I said, I've always held something to kind of keep my other shit going, and that was one of them. But then after that job, what I'm doing now is social media manager for a company called Teddy Baldessar.
Okay.
And, out of Cleveland, obviously, and he's one of like the biggest channels for creating content centered around like wristwatches.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
On like his website, you can also purchase over 30 different brands of watches, and so
like he makes them.
No, so he's an authorized dealer for.
Oh, okay,
different
gotcha.
brands,
Yeah.
so.
Does he do like reviews and things like that, or and unboxings and whatnot?
So he'll do reviews. I don't think he does like necessarily like strictly like an unboxing thing, but like he does really in depth views, and so he's got like the watch enthusiast community. Like
that's what's up. And you know what? That's I don't want to say it's a highly untapped community, but it's a dedicated community.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's a lot of people. There's people that are into watches that I didn't even know were into watches. Like I have friends that, you know, I may go over their place to hang out, and they have all these watches, and they never even wear them, but they have them, and they'll start telling me about them, and I'm like, Jesus,
yeah, it's
dude.
a whole
like,
thing.
It's a thing.
And I didn't know anything really about watches before I started. They just, I think what they liked about like what I brought to the table was just my skills with social media, building up. Like I'm from Cleveland, so I had to learn all that, but. Shout out to Teddy, because the first week he really got me like into all this stuff I kind of needed to know to like play my role there.
Yeah.
So
watches are a crazy investment too. Like if you leave them stock, like they retain their value really well.
Yeah, I'm still pretty novice, even being like 7 months in, but like I know that the way that like they'll speak about it, or like just people I've heard talking about it is. It's not. I mean, it's not like a for sure thing. No investment.
Yeah. Nothing's for sure.
There's only like certain brands right now that like are really ones that you can kind of expect to.
But one thing that's for sure is a for sure way to lower the value of your watch is adding shit to it. Like if you add diamonds to it, that actually brings the value down.
Yeah, because what they like is just the original.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Like if you're leaving them stock. They'll retain their value, or at least most of their value. I mean, of course, they'll probably drop, but like I could say, you know, I know this is pretty layman's, but like a Rolex, right? If you buy a Continental Rolex, I think is what it's called, you know, they'll retain, you know, a good majority of their value. Yeah. But then once you start adding diamonds and shit like that, and it's custom, the value just plummets through the floor. Yeah. So you can buy like, you know, diamond encrusted Rolex for a fraction of the cost of what it would be stock. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
It's wild, right?
Yeah.
It's like that with a lot of with jewelry in general. A lot of times they say custom pieces don't really retain their value, but like, you know, like a regular, you know, plain Jane piece will retain its value more than like a name plate or something like that. You know what I mean? Even though it may be full of diamonds and all types of shit, but that value just goes through the floor.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. So working all the odd jobs. Do you feel like right now with running your business, I know you still consider it a passion project, but it's also a business. Running your business with the job that you have now, that stability, are you in a much better place now than you were when you were working odd jobs here and there? What I really mean, is it easier for you now? Because I would think did you have more time on your hands when you were working odd jobs than you do now, or do you have more time on your hands now to concentrate on the site?
Hard to compare, just because like schedules were so different and things like that. So like for example, the casket job, I would get off work by like 1:30, 2:30 p.m. because I start at 5 or 6. When it got real busy, like 4. So I would have a lot of my day, but then I go to sleep really early. You know, now I have the rest of my day after like my regular 9 to 5. You know, but the good thing about it is like where I'm located. Because before I was out in Grafton, you know, or Lorraine. Now I'm in Cleveland. Even if I work my whole 8-hour day or whatever, I get back home, I can still make it to shit. You know, and I can pull up.
You're kind of in the heart of it now.
Yeah.
And obviously that's going to make it a lot easier for you to be putting out content because you're kind of here for it.
Mm-hmm.
So you think, let me ask you this. Do you think that you're going to, obviously it's a good thing. Like you're in the city now. It's a good thing. I mean, if you run a site called I'm from Cleveland and you now live in Cleveland, that has to be a positive thing.
Yeah.
What effect do you think that's going to have on the site moving forward? Like, is it going to be noticeable? Is it going to be like, you know, business as usual? Or
I think it's totally up to me and how I feel.
Okay.
Moving forward and me getting settled and kind of just getting like what's going to be important for me is getting into a good routine just with like my general life, you know, exercise, eating right, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because I've been kind of slacking on it.
Man, you and me both, man.
But that's something like, you know, obviously it's important. I value that very much. So that's like the kind of stuff that I think about first, almost, you know. I mean, mental health, all that. But what was your original question? I went off on a tangent.
I mean, you pretty much handled it. You pretty much handled it. I was going to ask, how do you what do you do for your mental health, your mental health? You were saying earlier that you had social anxiety.
Yeah.
How do you, other than the medication, like what other things do you do to handle that? Like I can say one of the things that I do for my mental health, and I like to ask this, you know, whenever I bring people on, especially if, you know, their first time. Sure. One of the things that I do is like on Mondays usually is, because I remember when you had needed me to work on your computer, and I was like, Monday was like one of the days that's always off the table for me, because Monday I usually, up until 6 o'clock, I'm not even, I leave my phone home and I'll just go walk, you know, in the Metro Parks. Metro Parks are right up the street. For emergencies, I have my watch, you know what I mean? So if somebody texts me in this emergency, I can answer them from my watch, but usually leave my phone home. Me and my dog will go to the Metro Parks, take a walk when the weather permitted. I'm not really a cold weather person, but every Monday, that's what I do. You know what I mean? And I'm usually unable to be reached until about 6 o'clock. And that's just kind of how I, you know, decompress from the week before or the weekend. If the weekend was crazy, Monday is when I decompress. What do you do to keep yourself? Because listen, running a business can be stressful. You know what I mean? Even if it's digital, it can still be stressful. You got to talk to a lot of people. You have to obviously get yelled at a lot by people that don't understand how the process works. True. So how do you decompress from all that? That's a better question. How do you decompress from all of the crap that gets piled up on top of you?
Yeah. We were talking, I think this was before we were recording, about like basketball. It's one thing that I can do that when I'm on the court, like I'm not thinking about anything else. So just like finding activities like that. And then also, I mean, just keeping the right people around me, I think is the biggest thing, honestly. Because if I'm feeling some way, like I have people I can talk to.
Okay.
And whether that's like one of my friends that I just think of, like I see like goofy stuff online or something and I send it to him, and that just sparks like something like good vibes, you know. Like
really quick, apparently your parents say the show is dope.
What's up, Mom and Dad? Nice use of the word dope. That's funny.
Yeah, please continue, sir.
Oh, what was I saying? That threw me off.
You were talking about basketball, taking your mind off of things.
Yeah, and just keeping the right people around me and talking through a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a very, very solid core of like friends.
Yeah.
A lot of people that I went to grade school with, I'm still close with. And so like that's just really long-term friendships, you know.
That's a fucking great thing, dude.
Yeah.
That's a great thing. Like having friends from grades, I can say I don't have that. None of the people, because I moved around so much. Also, you know, coming from a military family, I moved around so much that I don't really have people, especially here. Like I have friends that, you know, you go to their house and you look on the fridge and there's pictures from them from middle school, elementary school, high school, or whatever. I'm in none of those. I wasn't around for that. You know what I mean? So like, I don't really have many friends from like that far back
yeah.
that I still talk to. So that's a beautiful thing, man, that you have those people and they're still around.
It's definitely a special thing, but like you could still develop obviously.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Know. So, but yeah, like one of my friends, he lived like a street behind me basically.
Mm-hmm.
And my sister and his sister were friends. So like my parents would be hanging out over there, and this was before like him and I would be hanging out before like, we could talk or walk, you know?
Okay.
So
yeah.
Back. Like that's literally.
So y'all go back.
Yeah.
So. Like freaking, building sandcastles in the fucking sandbox and shit.
Yeah.
Dude, that is dope. Adam said I'm gonna Photoshop you into a bunch of little kids' pictures. Yeah, don't do that, man. Don't do that. I feel like that's a charge just waiting to happen.
Yeah, you don't need that.
Yeah, we don't need that. Let me ask you this. So everybody, and this is something that I've talked about on the podcast before. Everybody feels like their city is unique in some way. You know what I mean? Like, is there something about Cleveland that actually sets it apart from other cities? You know what I mean? Because I always hear things like, yo, in Cleveland, X, Y, and Z. And I've been a lot of places, and I'm like, that happens in a lot of cities. You know what I mean?
I would say you're better off to speak on that than I am.
Okay.
Because I haven't done that much traveling. Something I want to get on. Like I've been to a few places.
You gotta get your travel on, man.
I know.
Get your
and especially with what I do and with like repping the city and things like that. But I really think that's something I would ask you to be more knowledgeable on. And like, you know, what's something that when you're traveling that you think of that's like missing, you know, or like, you know.
You know what I will say? One thing that's missing from here, and it's getting better. It's getting better every day, is a sense of artistic community. And what I mean by that is, so here, one thing I noticed here is that not a lot of artists really collaborate with each other on the level of we're all artists, let's just work together and build something. And every other city I've ever been in, they have that. Like, you know, if listen, if you make videos and I make videos, why don't we just hang out more and pick each other's brain? You know what I mean?
Right.
It feels like there's a big sense of competition here, probably because Cleveland's a very blue collar city. You know what I mean? As they say, everything is earned, nothing is given. You know what I mean? And I feel like that creates a bit of a sense of competition, so that if you're a photographer and I'm a photographer, I'm not really collaborating with you because
people think it takes away opportunities for yourself, but there's plenty for
there's so much. There's so much to go around.
And that comes down to like hustling and making those opportunities come for you, because you are competing against the next guy. But I mean, that
doesn't mean that both of y'all can't eat.
No,
you know what
I
mean?
That's what I mean though too. Is like, you know, there's opportunity for everyone, whatever they're doing. Like it just comes down to like a lot of hustle, hard work, and like.
Except for you, because I don't know any other sites like I'm from Cleveland, dude. Is there any other ones?
Like in that like represent their cities like that, or like
no Cleveland? here in this city. Is there any other ones that like do what y'all do?
Not what we do. There's other people that do, I would say, like maybe similar things, or they do shine a good positive light on the city. But like
Hazel said, unfortunately, Cleveland is the biggest city for hate. That's why you always need a solid support team. And then really quick, Chris said not winning championships. Damn. Is that what Cleveland's known for? And Tim said from Dad, ask John about his unique nightstand.
I didn't even I left that at
my bad. Didn't mean to bring light to it. Chris said,
I'm saying there's a nightstand that I don't find particularly charming.
Oh, okay.
Apparently it was mine at one point, like because I just moved, so I had a lot of my stuff in my parents' place. I went to go pick it up, and that was sitting there, and I'm like, I'm not taking that. Like,
dude, I love the fact that you said particularly charming.
Yeah,
that's going to become a quote on my shows from now on. It's not particularly charming.
That's what came to my mind.
Oh man! So, and Chris said it's like middle school drama with DJs. People are selfish. I only associate with the ones that show the great energy.
Yeah. Were you hip to the cosign when we did that?
I don't know. I don't think I was hip.
So
what was that?
It was a conglomerate of DJs.
You can move that mic up if it's too low for you. Yeah, you can feel free to.
A conglomerate of like DJs, basically tastemakers, because like I was included in that. I had a blog, but
damn, I wasn't included in it at all. So
so the way that it formed, DJ Steph Floss sent out like a tweet like, who runs on from Cleveland, because this was years and years ago too, and I remember seeing that, contacting him in some way, and he was like, hey, can you show up to where did we go? I forget the restaurant, but Bar Louie. We went to Bar Louie downtown, and when I get there, it's like,
that shit ain't there no more. You ain't got to remember that.
Wait,
it's not there anymore.
Really?
Yeah, it closed down.
It's still like the sign is up still though.
I think the sign might be still up, but yeah, it's closed. Yeah, so, I was just saying you ain't got to remember the name. It ain't there anymore. Yeah.
So I get there and it's like a whole bunch of people from like a select people from like 107.9, and Quincy, Big Hef.
Yeah.
So he's like Def Jam rap. So it's just like a conglomerate, like the word I used before, of people that kind of know what's going on with like music in the city. So we got all these people together and we put out like 6 projects over the span of, I don't know, 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
And so the reason I bring that up is because like we were really trying to bring people together, and it was just like a music, like these are trying to be like a representation of the voice of like music that we want to stand out, like especially if you were to take this to another city, and you'd be like, this is like what's popping in the city, and we would kind of be a voice behind that. But
okay,
I mean, that was just an effort that we made, at one point. But even then, it was hard. But like just
I mean, you were involved in that though.
Yeah.
So there really isn't anyone else doing what you're doing. It's like you're the guy. Also, is Tim your brother?
That's my dad.
Oh, Tim is your dad. Okay.
Yeah.
He goes, wrong nightstand. Also, shout out Tim. He said wrong nightstand, the one he got from Matthews.
Oh, okay. So Matthews.
Is that one particularly charming?
I'll let you decide once you hear it.
Okay.
So I thought so he's talking about another thing. When I worked at Matthews International, which was like the company that did the caskets.
Oh, okay.
So they showed, they would have like a quarter of a casket or something like hanging up, like showing like at funeral homes.
Are you serious?
Well, it's like, this is like when you're going in to decide like, oh, I like this casket.
Yeah,
like that one. So it was like just a quarter of a casket, whatever. So I took 2 of them out of the trash and I took them home. And I just had them sitting in my room, like
2 quarter caskets.
Yeah.
And you were using those as nightstands?
No, I probably put like a book on it or something, but they were just chilling. Like it was like decor. And then like Halloween came now, and I was trying to sell them just because I was like, yo, like Halloween decorations. I'm moving. I don't got room for these.
I need to see these, man. You might have to bring one of those over. Do you still have them?
No, I got rid of them just when I moved. It was my God, sir. It was a task too, because I could only fit one in the backseat of my car at a time. So I took 2 trips to.
How big were these things? They were like, it was like a whole quarter casket.
It was like this,
like top and bottom.
It's hollow. It was hollow.
Yeah. But it's basically like they took a casket, cut a quarter of it.
Yeah.
And,
maybe a little bit smaller than a quarter, but yeah.
I was thinking that it was just the top. Like they took the top off, cut that in a quarter, and then
it showed like the length
like
of it
okay, wow, whoa.
But I can only fit like one. It basically took up the back of my Toyota Corolla.
Damn, and you got rid of them. Did you throw them away or did you give them to somebody?
I hit up a few people. Nobody wanted them. I tried leaving it at because I was living with my friend.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, like I know you have fires and stuff. Like if you need some firewood. He's like, his first thing he said was, I don't want your casket. You got to get that thing out of here.
Bro, you should have hit me up, man. Right. I would have, it would be sitting right in that background right there with all the ilthy stuff, man. It'd have been right behind you.
I could try and get another one, but no, it was when people saw them for the first time, like if someone were to walk into my room, I'd be like, oh yeah, by the way,
that's freaking great, man.
That's here because of this.
That's freaking great. You want to know another little piece of Cleveland history that you might not be aware of? One of the first people to do a daily vlog is from Cleveland. Fucking Steph Floss.
Really?
He was one of the first people to do a daily vlog. Steph did a daily vlog, I think, for a straight year. This is before, and this was before like vlogging cameras, you know what I mean? Before people were buying like DSLRs and wide angle lens and the Gorilla Pods to vlog with it. He was vlogging from this like little I don't know what the hell it was, man. I'll have to ask him one day. But yeah, he was, matter of fact, the first person that I ever saw do a daily vlog was him. And I kind of stay connected on these things. But yeah, he was the first person that I ever saw do a daily vlog.
Man, shout out to
yeah,
Floss.
shout out to Floss, man. Shout out to Floss. Hold on. Sarah said, who else do you know could continuously root for a football team and say there's always next year? We are a very optimistic city. Boom. That is definitely something that is I've never seen in another city. Mostly because those cities like have won some shit, yeah. but
they haven't had the opportunity.
Like coming here from DC, I remember when the Cavs won a championship, right? I told my friends, I actually called it. I was like, this is happening. I told them exactly how it was going to happen, and it happened exactly how I said. And I text all my friends and congratulated them. And I like my main thing was I was really happy for y'all because I moved here from a place, you know, in DC, we have a Super Bowl championship. You know what I mean? Like we have championships.
Right.
We have, you know, in Brazil, we got fucking 5 World Cup championships. It's having a championship was nothing new to me. It was just par for the course. Or having a good team was just par for the course. Yeah. So like I never really the fact that like it's something that hadn't come close to happening in 50 years. I was like, man, that's bugged out. And the fact that like for the longest time, like I never knew how bad the team was, and I danced for the Cavs. Like I was on the Scream team for like a few years.
I feel like I knew that, but
yeah, I danced for the Cavs for a long time and never really I didn't pay attention to the game, man. I was just out there to dance, look at chicks, and do my thing and
collect a little bit of money.
Get my money, get some hot dogs. They had really good hot dogs there, and you know, and dip out. But yeah, I never really realized how bad the team was, and I never realized how important, you know, that championship was. And once I realized that, I realized how dedicated everybody here was. You know what I mean? To still be wearing listen, dude, in DC, if the Wizards have like a few bad games, you don't see no Wizards jersey anywhere in the city. Ain't nobody wearing shit. If the football team, now it's called the football team, if they're having a bad season, you ain't seeing no hoodies or no jersey. You ain't seeing that. They're like, fuck them. Here, you see Brown stuff no matter what. You know what I mean? You see Cavs stuff no matter what. And I will say this, out of the places that I've been, that's something that is actually different about here is that the pride in the city doesn't waver no matter what. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what happens, the pride in the city doesn't waver. Fucking Stipe lost the belt. The pride people have in Stipe has never wavered once. You know what I mean? I've never heard anybody call him a bum or say he's washed up or what. I've never heard anybody say any of that. You know what I mean?
If they do, say it to his face.
Right. Say it. We've talked about him a couple of times on here. And we never called him a bum. Just I kind of had a feeling how that fight was going to go. Just because, you know, I train and fight MMA, you know what I mean? So from an objective standpoint. Yeah. But there was never a situation. I mean, that dude, you know, is at the time was essentially the best heavyweight on the planet. You know what I mean? And he did some shit that no other heavyweight has ever done in the UFC. You got to give that props. I don't see how people would even be able to call him, you know, washed up or anything. And everybody gets older. Yeah. You know what I mean? There comes a time where Father Time catches up with everybody at some point. And it'll catch up with him. It'll catch up with, you know, with everybody. But yeah, that's definitely something about this city that definitely sets it apart. There's a lot of pride here. Sometimes too much pride. Like an interesting thing about here is how much you see like Cleveland stuff on a regular basis. Not the sports teams, but like 216 hoodies or, you know, Cleveland hoodies or Ohio hoodie. You know what I'm saying? I see that so much here. I don't really see that like in DC. I don't see people wearing if it's not the sports team, I don't really see people wearing like a 202 shirt or a DC shirt or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Tons of that's almost a joke. There's so many like t-shirt companies. Like something happens, boom, you have a
instantly
right away.
Like have you ever been to Miami?
I have not.
In Miami, I rarely see Miami stuff. You know what I mean? If I do, I'm almost immediately like, that dude's not from Miami.
Yeah. He's just showing out.
Yeah.
He's there.
Yeah, that dude's from North Carolina, and he moved down here, and he's trying to rep a little too hard. Yeah. But here, it's like, you know, you see that shit and they're from here. It's here. That's an interesting thing. Cause I don't see that in other cities. New York, obviously. Yeah. New York always wears, yeah. Some places in New York, people wear New York stuff, but definitely Cleveland. Cleveland reps hard. Like, man, what are some, let me ask you this real quick. This might put you on the spot. What are some people, Adam King said Detroit versus everybody. And Hazel said, we fully support the sports, but not the talent. Sounds a bit suspect.
Well, that's a good point. And us talking about like the sports and stuff, us not having a good sports team and us not having things to get behind.
Really quick, she also said she wanted those coffins. You didn't ask her.
Anyone that I put them on my stories. So same to you too. I don't know. They were there. I was asking people, but what was I just talking about? Oh yeah, the sports. I mean, that was like we didn't have anything to like rally behind, and I was looking at the music scene and just what certain people were doing, and I was proud of that, and I was like, this is something that like, hey, if I can't, like, not that I can't go support the sports, because I'm a fan of all like the Cleveland teams, but at that time I was like, I want to create something where we can be proud of and showcase, like, we're not winning in sports right now, but we're winning in this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so that was part of my motivation too, was just, so if we had really good teams, maybe I never would have started, like, because I would have felt like we had some,
Thank God those teams sucked. What are let me ask you this: who are some people that people should be checking for in the city, like in the Cleveland area? And what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to say who are your favorites, because you know some people might get butthurt about that.
Yeah.
Just some interesting, other than myself, just some some interesting, you know, creators or artists in the city that you think people should, you know, maybe check out.
You know, I would,
from whatever facet you want. Doesn't even have to be all music, just from whatever facet you want.
I would have to, like, I would have to think about it, man.
Okay.
Because I would want to, like, I take pride in that opinion of knowing, like, that I wouldn't want to come up with it on the spot and miss something here, miss something there. But I would say I try my best to share all that I'm from Cleveland. Yeah. So like
so they should just go to I'm from Cleveland.
You go to
I'm gonna put that up on screen.
The Instagram, because that's what gets updated like every day.
Okay.
Or mostly every day, you know, when things are happening. But yeah, I mean, I try to shine a light on everything, like I said, in just general cultures, things that are going on in the city. And if I can find a way to get it in there, I will. Like right now, that's actually a good thing for me to do right now. I want to take a look at some of the stuff I have wanted to post, but I haven't. I think that's a good like example, because there's stuff there's stuff that'll sit there for like a month or two that I never did anything with.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, go ahead, take a peek, man. Take a little peeky peek. You know what you should do, man. You should. Well, you kind of already do it. Do you do when you do your videos? Is that a weekly thing or is that a monthly thing?
So when I was doing specifically the music ones, I was trying to do it at least once a month, but I went like 5 months without posting a single one, because that takes me the most amount of time to put that kind of content together versus other stuff. Other things are like, you know, something that's going on. I can find content online that's know, but with that, it's researching the music, which happens in multiple ways, which is people sending it to us, which is me scrolling, which is me talking to people.
Yeah.
And then downloading it, and then, you know, the whole editing process and putting in everybody's and doing all the little things that take a little bit of time. And so all that adds up. And so I wish I would love to do that once a month. Maybe I could find enough music to do it 2 times a month, I think. But it's just, it comes down to like, do I have time to do that? You know?
Yeah. Really? Do you, when it comes to music, do y'all stay pretty much hip hop, or do y'all venture into other things?
So like I mentioned before, hip hop was definitely the foundation. Yeah. And that's what I never want to get away from that. You know?
Right.
So it's definitely a lot of like what we put out there and showcase, but definitely not limited, you know. I mean, pop, R&B. I've I think I put up a polka song once. Like,
wait, really? You put up a?
I'm pretty sure I did. I remember.
So there's like, one polka song that's living on "I'm from Cleveland." Wow, yeah. Wow, that's got to be an honor.
And it was different, and I was like, yo, I mean, I like this. Like,
yeah.
I'm sure.
Maybe you just like polka, man. Yeah. Maybe it's just in your blood.
I actually kind of hate polka.
Oh, do you really?
So
it's not particularly charming.
It's not. I'm glad you remembered that. You can keep using it.
Bro, I'm telling you, I'm using that. It's not particularly charming. I feel like there's a lot of, obviously hip hop is very big here, but I feel like there's also a lot of, like there's electronic music here. There's a lot of house coming out of here. There's a lot of bass music that's coming out of here. There's a lot of creations that are coming out of the Cleveland area that I don't know, maybe think about tapping into that. But, you're pretty much a one-man crew right now, right?
Yeah, and at different times, I mean, there's a few people that help with I'm from Cleveland on a regular, consistent basis. Mm-hmm. But like at one time when we were really rolling, I was able to call like meetings with everybody that was helping out, and we'd have 10 or 11 people at a meeting. Okay. And we'd like, just kind of talk about different ways of how we can do things better, and then give tasks to people. And like, it was like a whole, like,
I think I was at one of the meetings one time. Didn't one of them take place at the Ilty Shop?
It could have.
I think I remember this because y'all were there. Y'all were listening to music.
Probably.
Y'all listened to music for a while. I think I was there for one of the meetings. Yeah.
So, but right now, like, like I said, I have a couple people that help here and there, but no, like, I've always said I wanted, like in my head, like I want another me, someone that just knows how I would do things. Yeah. It's like, it's hard to, even if I have someone that's really dedicated and wants to help out, it's hard to even provide the specific guidance, or I don't know, they just got to be the right person.
It's really difficult to find another you. A lot of YouTubers have that problem. Like, it comes to the point to where their channel starts taking off and they have less and less time, so then they need to hire an editor.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I keep hearing over and over again is they have a lot of trouble finding somebody that edits the way that they do. You know what I mean? Because obviously the ideal thing would be to clone yourself, and now you have more time, but it's really hard to find that. And when you do find it, sometimes, and I feel like you're smarter than this. I'm convinced you're smarter than this, but sometimes people find that person that's a perfect fit, and then they don't treat it as such. They just treat it as it's just another person. You know what I mean? Like, I can get another you easily. You know what I mean? But when you find somebody that does things the way that you do, a lot of times people got to recognize that.
Oh yeah.
I have a friend that he would throw parties. Nobody in the chat right now. This is way back in the day. And then he always made the flyers for his own parties, and he wanted to hire a flyer person that would make flyers the way that he did. He finally found somebody, and the person was like, yo, I'm just coming up. Like, yes, I'd love to work with you. Right now, we can work out a deal. Obviously, eventually, I would like to get paid for my services or whatever, right? Fast forward a couple of years later, and the person's like, hey, I have more stuff on my plate now. Like, I'm going to need some type of monetary compensation. And my friend was just like, I'll just find somebody else to do it. And I remember telling them, okay, all right, I feel like you're going to regret that. You know what I mean? Like, you have a way that you want things done. This person does the things that exact way.
Right. That's not easy to find.
Yeah, you're not just going to find that. And he didn't find it.
And I'm sorry to cut you off there.
No, feel free.
I want to take this opportunity just while we're kind of talking about it to thank everybody that's ever helped out with I'm from Cleveland, whether like they were official members or just people that like in passing that did something, but like something that comes to mind is we held a really dope event, and literally everybody that helped out we needed. Yeah. And so I remember like everybody was just helping out of love. Mm-hmm. And like when the night was done and we saw like we made some money from the event or whatever, like I made sure to pay everybody. Yeah. And they were all like, oh my God, like I had a good time. Like, oh,
see, that's dope. That's dope right there.
But that's what I always get back to by saying like the money to me is just like, the whole point of that night to me was the experience that we gave, which was, it was a networking event where we rented out 2 studios upstairs at Balkley House, and artists were flowing in and out. Like we had like 200 people in the whole building. Like,
so this was like an event.
Yeah. And it would be cool, like after this, like to show you like the videos that we put together from it and stuff. But just like, I appreciated everybody so much. I was like, it wasn't like a lot of money, but I was like, yo, like we could split this up and like, you know.
That's what's up. It's beautiful when people. It's beautiful when people have your back. And kind of see the vision and they see something in you that
hell yeah,
they're there for the love. Like that's beautiful. And then for you to bless them with a little something, like they weren't expecting that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that's a beautiful thing. Blow it up for that. I'm gonna give that a round of applause, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. My chair keeps sinking down sometimes. I gotta fix that. Did you find I know you were looking for the stuff that you were thinking about posting.
Yeah, it's not as juicy as I thought. It is, but it's not. So we got, no, I wouldn't say it's not. This guy, John Dean, he's got some of his clothes in Nordstrom.
Oh, really?
That's very fucking dope. So
yeah, that's huge.
Already void what I said right before.
Yeah, that's freaking huge. And he's from Cleveland.
Yeah, and we posted about him before, but not this time. I didn't get around to posting this one. On this here, Rami got a publishing deal, but we did post about that.
Yeah,
so I got that checked off.
I actually talked to him since then. I actually got a chance to congratulate him in person.
Rami?
Yeah, when was that? I think he dropped off some CDJs that I had let Eric use.
You're talking about just recently, right? Because he was in the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rami's that guy. Shout out to Rami.
Yeah, shout out Rami for sure. Rami's another one, like I never knew that he was from out here. I didn't meet him for a long time. And then when I met him, I didn't even really realize I was meeting him. You know what I mean? Like I had heard about him. And when I met him, he was just such a chill, relaxed dude. I hate using the word humble. You know what I mean? Because humble seems like a catchphrase nowadays. Oh, this person's humble. But he was a very chill, down to earth, just a dude. Chatted it up with me. He didn't know me from Adam. You know what I mean? I met him. We chatted it up for a bit. And then I found out, I was like, oh, this is fucking guy that everybody's been talking about. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Rami's looked out for me, you know, in the past.
That's what's up, man.
Stuff,
that's what's up.
Yeah,
he's out in LA now, right?
Yeah. I went to visit EV. EV was staying with Rami. I stayed in Rami's room.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. Hell yeah.
So talking about him looking out, that's major, you know.
Hazel said, I don't know if you know Frisk Me Good, but that designer is fucking dope. Are they from Cleveland?
I would assume if
she said like corsets made from shoes. Oh, that's kind of dope. Are they from?
Oh yeah, I have seen that.
They're from Cleveland.
I would take her word for it. I believe so because I've seen like a Cleveland artist actually wearing that.
Okay. Hazel, they're from Cleveland. I'm assuming. Since you interrupted us and brought it up, no, I'm just joking. You got some more heat over there for me?
Yeah, somebody wrote a children's book recently. It sold pretty well. I don't have I'd have to like dig for the info.
Yeah.
Somebody collaborated with Tiffany & Co. on something.
Okay, that's what's up.
So like I just have like all these notes here and just things like that I would eventually share. And
I got a friend that actually wrote a book about empowering girls. It's called Conscious Empowerment, and she's from Cleveland.
Oh, that's dope.
Leah Bears. Hang on, I have the book right here. This book right here. We actually had her on the show before.
Okay.
We were promoting it. Good book for people that have daughters and whatnot. Solid book, people. Solid book. But yeah, she's from Cleveland.
Very dope.
You should add her on your short list when you get a chance.
Yeah.
I only said that because she's really short. Oh, Hazel knows her. Yeah, Hazel knows her. Empowered and Poised. Actually, it's called Conscious Empowerment. Her company is called Empowered and Poised. Hazel. I helped her kind of get her start and all that. So like when I met her, I helped her like get her the business side of everything off the ground. I did like all of her headshots, her promo photos, her promo videos and things like that. She's a solid person. She's the homie.
Very dope.
You got more over there, or was that
There's more, but
you don't want to get too deep into it?
Yeah, because I also might. My plan always is anything that makes this list. Like my plan is to share it, but like I said, some stuff's been in there for like 2 months, and then it kind of gets like to the point where it might be too old, or like
gets a little too late to share,
or the list gets this big. Let me see.
And then it's like, this is a bit much. Do you have a YouTube channel for I'm from Cleveland?
Yeah, we do. Before we get into that, so right here, I don't know if you can see this at all on the screen, but
oh yeah, we can see it. Yeah.
So if I'm scrolling, like that's all these links right
Holy
here.
crap, dude! And that type is small.
That's music that I want to share.
Oh my
that hasn't been
god,
shared
man!
Yet.
Dude, that's so much.
I know. So I mean, literally, if I hear something where I scroll, I just hear it. I save it for the time being, but it builds up.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, Steven is here. Steven Feliciano, what's up? How are you? Let me ask you this, because obviously you have a website. I'm from Cleveland.com.
Yeah.
Cleveland spelled out or CLE?
I'm from Cleveland.com.
Okay.
Yeah. But
just so y'all know.
Socials are I'm from Cle.
Yeah. Did you notice the shift? Like, was there a heavy shift when things started moving more towards social media rather than a website? And are you posting on social media more than you do the website nowadays, or is it still the same?
Yeah, it's changed completely.
Okay.
The website used to be like the main thing. Now, like, that's like part of the brand and everything. Just I'm from Cleveland. I'm from Cleveland.com. But really, like, I mean, I spend my time doing like the socials, and right now Instagram. Like, there was a time where I had like our Twitter really popping, but that got taken down because of like certain copyright shit.
Yeah. Steven said, I'm going to make a site for I'm from Lorraine.com. Wait, weren't he is from Lorraine, actually, Steve. I feel like as far as money goes, for a while, like a website used to be what you had to have to make money, because it would be like the advertising on the site. You know what I mean? So if you got clicks to the website, you would make money from that. And that seems to have completely changed. Are there as many, I mean, we're not going into your pockets. Are there as many financial outlets now that things have moved to social media as there were when things were mostly website based? Or
I would say probably more.
Oh, really? Really?
I mean, because you still have that option. If you there's still some websites that get enough traffic where their advertisement's going to pull in that money, so they have that option. But then they also have options to expand through socials and
I always thought that, because a lot of the people that I know that had sites, right, and you would go to their site and it'd be like a banner ad over here, the banner ad over there, then a banner ad at the bottom, and then one at the top. And then once everything shifted into the world of social media, where it was like, and a lot of times you actually have to work for the ads now. Like, you have to do ad reads, or you know what I mean, product placement and things like that.
Yeah.
For them, they took a huge hit. Like their revenue went way down.
I think just at the time, especially, it's such a big change. It's something you have to like, I think it's some, depending on the industry or whatever, like they could pick back up or get into. But yeah, I think it's just a thing of change and adapting with that, which is something that I've also take pride in. I feel like since I've been doing this shit since like MySpace, at that time for me, it wasn't, I was still young. Like, it wasn't like I was my age now doing it. Where we saw the shift from like MySpace to Facebook and Twitter, and like everything, just kind of started changing, and you had to figure out, like, there's different formats. A lot of it's somewhat essentially the same but different, and but yeah, man, it changed, and you just gotta learn.
Yeah, one thing I will say, man, is you seem to be very very versed in adapting to the new things, because there's never been a time where I haven't heard about I'm from Cleveland. You know what I mean? Like, there's never been a time where it's like, there's never been a time where to my knowledge, that you guys have fallen off. You know what I mean? Whereas there's a lot of, like I was saying, there will be sites around, and then everything goes to social, and now those sites aren't around anymore. Yeah. Or everybody's on, when Vine was around, right? You have people that are doing brand deals and stuff on Vine. Vine disappears, and then you never hear from them again. You know what I'm saying? And it seems like whatever comes around, it seems like you almost have like your thumb to the pulse, or your fingers to the pulse of what's coming up, and you have a presence there. I assume you have a TikTok presence as well.
As you were saying, that's what I was going to say. We're not. I mean, we have a TikTok, but I never really got. I don't go on TikTok personally.
Yeah, me either.
At all.
Me either.
I don't. I have the app. I will literally never open it.
Yeah, I don't really open mine.
And so I don't know. Like, I definitely think if I had the time to put a strategy together and actually film, like if I wanted to do it, I think I could, but like it'd be some work. At this point, I'm just like,
I feel like you would be successful at it. I mean, yes, it would be work, but I feel like you strike me as, and I'm saying this as somebody who didn't grow up with you, who wasn't around for your whole life. Just I'm saying this as somebody that has met you, has talked to you, and this is the vibe that I get from you.
Mm-hmm.
You strike me as somebody that when you do something, you actually do it. You don't half-ass many things. You know what I mean? Like when you were delivering coffins, we were fucking delivering coffins. You know what I mean? The coffins got where they needed to be, and you were doing your thing.
100%.
When you started, I'm from Cleveland. Like you went in, you do the research. Like you just showed me the list of stuff you have there. That's not half-ass. No. You know what I mean? You don't have that many things when you're half-assing something. And I feel like, you know, if you got into TikTok, I'm not saying you should, but I feel like if you got into it, like you would go in, research it, figure out how you can make it work for what you needed to do, and then you would go from there. I mean, that's just the type of person that you come across.
I think I could. I think it's a little out of my comfort zone for some reason. I just don't enjoy TikTok as much. Like
I feel it.
There's so many like different. I do like a lot of the funny shit. Like is cool. Like, you know, but like, that's also part of like it might take me away too much. Like the same reason I never really played like video games or anything, because like
it's blasphemy, sir. It's blasphemy.
I know, saying that to you. But like growing up though, like my friends would be we'd be hanging out playing video games, and then I would escape to go to the computer because
M said that's what I've been saying. I wonder if she's saying what I've been saying or what I just said.
About what?
She said TikTok, about you.
Probably.
Either about TikTok or what I said about you. One of the two. What were you saying? Please continue.
I lost my track.
When you were speaking at blasphemy that you don't play video games?
Oh, yeah. I mean, for one, because like I had the last system I owned, or I didn't even own it. My parents bought it for us, was the PS2.
Jeez.
And so like I play video games with my friends and shit, you know, but I haven't had a system since that.
Yeah.
But,
damn.
But it would be a thing where I just felt like it would have taken up too much of my time and shit. Like really though, when I was in high school or even grade school, and I would come back and I only have the time between school and like going to sleep, I was doing I'm from Cleveland shit. Like,
but I mean, you were doing it. There's nothing wrong with that, man.
Yeah, and I'm just saying like I allocated a lot of my time to that, you know.
Let me ask you this. We're going to be wrapping up soon, but let me ask you this real quick. Where do you want to take it? Like, do you want to one day have a staff? Like, would you like to one day have, you know, like a person for each outlet? Because there's so many social media platforms popping up nowadays. You know what I mean? And it's like, we got TikTok, we got Instagram, we got fucking YouTube, and now YouTube Shorts, and then Snapchat, and all these things. Would you like to one day have like a staff of people and have somebody for each thing, or do you prefer doing it all on your own?
I like a lot of what I do. I feel like at one point I had a staff, an unpaid staff, volunteer staff. Like, so that's the closest I can come to thinking of like having something like that. Obviously, it would be great.
Yeah.
It would just be a new level of like management for me, you know, which I'm already managing this shit. I'm just managing it and doing it myself. So it's a whole nother step, but but
I would almost say it's harder to manage people that are doing it for free than it is people that are getting paid.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Because it's hard to even ask them for shit. Sometimes it's like, you know, I appreciate the time you're already giving me. Like, right. You know, but there's, he goes by Cinematics, Keith.
Oh, yeah. I know him.
So he's been working with I'm from Cleveland since way back in the day.
Yeah.
And he's one of the best videographers I know.
For sure.
And
for sure.
He's killing it. Like he would do shit out of love for us, like whenever I wanted. And so like that's a huge shout out to him, because he created some of like our best content at different times throughout. And it's like I could call on him and he'd be like, yeah, dude. And he's down just for what I'm from Cleveland is, you know, and that comes as close to like how I feel about it. You know, I want other people to feel about that way if they're helping out, you know? And so, but it is also, it gets I don't want to be like, yo, can you do this and this and this?
Right, right. Adding stuff to it.
So it's hard to balance that and like stay respectful and, I just don't want to ask too much of anybody that's actually just helping out just because they're helping out. Like, just, yo, I appreciate that.
Hell yeah. Dude. John. My man, this has been damn, time flies. Time flew, it really bro. Does. Bro, this has been amazing. I'm so glad we did it. We got to do a part 2. I got to get you back on. I think I'm going to make you a regular, man. I'm going to just have you over here maybe once a month or something like that, man. I definitely want to keep in contact with you, man. I definitely want to keep you coming back.
Let's do it.
Because this has been dope, man. I also want to help. I'm going to figure out some way to help, man. We'll figure it out. We're going to chop it up at some point. I'm going to figure out some way to help. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about done. That's the wrong closing song. I hit him with you. See, you got me all fluttered, man. I'm hitting him with the wrong closing song. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this episode of The Rotation, episode number 8, the official guest talk show of the Two Endangered Mammals podcast, the #1 podcast in my duplex. I have been Mr. Tiger Adinaldo, and with me, my special guest for today. How do I say your last name again? Stursa. John Stursa. I don't know how I keep forgetting that. John, would you please tell the good people how they can get in touch with you? Tell them your socials while I bring it up on the screen.
Yeah, so my personals are John Stursa. And then I'm from Cleveland's are I'm from CLE.
Boom. Yeah, can they also go to ifromcleveland.com?
Yes.
Okay.
So, I mean, like, on there we have, like, our basics, what we're about, things like that. But, like, really for the latest news, it's the Instagram.
Yeah. Okay. So they can go to the site, but if they want to be the latest and greatest, it's on the Instagram.
Yep. And that's then on the website, you'll find out ways to contact us, especially if you're looking to, like, submit something or anything like that.
Oh, yeah. We probably should have put that up there. How would somebody submit to you? Is it better to go to submit on the website, or is it better to submit through the Instagram?
Either way, we're going to direct you to our email, which is I'm from Clee216 at gmail.com.
Okay.
And so if you send something there, you'll get a reply, even if in rare instances it's a couple months late.
It might be a little bit late.
I'm doing my best.
M said the Twitter is I'm from CLE_.
Yeah.
She said, so add the _.
Emily helps out with the site a lot, so shout out to her.
Where did she pop up? Did she pop up on the
She was on
Instagram, but it showed up on the screen here. So did she pop up on the YouTube?
She must have.
I don't see her on the YouTube. Where are you at, Em? Are you on the Twitch? Maybe she's on the Twitch.
She doesn't have a picture either like everyone else.
So she might be on the Twitch's feed. Yep. Nope, it's not on the Twitch. Where is it?
I had to switch to my computer, Twitch.
Oh, she's on Twitch. Okay, she is on Twitch.
Even my dad has a photo.
Okay, boom. Boom, there it is. Yeah, first time chat. Okay, that's what's up. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been your host, Mr. Tiger Adinaldo. If you want to get in touch with me, you can catch me at Tiger39, THAIGER 39, and you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Discord. Did I say Twitch? Twitch, YouTube, iTunes, Tinder, GoPuff, freaking Uber Eats, Bumble, Farmers Only, Christian Mingle.
I haven't tried that one yet.
Christian Mingle, all of the social media platforms, catch me at Tiger39. If you would like to watch this show after the fact, just go to youtube.com/Tiger39. They're all arranged there in playlists. You'll see this under The Rotation. It'll be the first one there because it's the newest one. If you want to listen to the show after the fact, just go to your favorite podcasting streaming platform of choice and search for Two Endangered Mammals. We'll be the first 2 that show up. We'll be the only 2 that show up. Once again, I have been Mr. Tiger Adinaldo. This is my man, John. Cleveland John over here.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, man. It's been my pleasure. We will be back again Thursday for the Two Endangered Mammals podcast. You can catch me and Pun, 7 p.m. Any parting words that you would like to send out there? Any shout outs or anything you'd like to put out there?
Shout out to everybody that has helped out with I'm from Cleveland in the past to this day. Connor O'Donnell. specifically just because we haven't caught up in a while, and he needs to know that, you know, like I appreciate him pushing me back in the day.
For sure.
Everyone, obviously EV, and then my mom and my dad for tuning in, and my dad for even leaving comments and for using the word dope.
Hell yeah.
That's all I
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Also, Hazel said, welcome to Cleveland, Stursa.
Thank you.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. I have a very supportive chat. I pride myself in a very supportive chat.
That's a great thing, because not all chats are like
right.
that.
Some chats are toxic as fuck, man. They get toxic as fuck. Once again, people, this has been The Rotation. I have been Tiger. This has been John. And we are now signing out. Peace.
Peace out.